Okay, I like that.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one from Belgium today, and this one is from the Brouwerij Van Steenberge, and they're based in a place called Tripel, which is in East Flanders, and they produce this Gulden Draak, or Golden Dragon as they say in English. And it's a dark triple, and it looks pretty good. And one thing I will say straight from the off, so I really like the label, and it's 10.5%, so this is going to be a bit fucking hefty. But this is a beer with a very interesting history. It's named after the Golden Dragon that sits on a church in a place called Ghent, which is in Belgium. Now, this Golden Dragon has got a long history. It was originally on the ship of a Norwegian king whose name was Magnusson. No, he wasn't related to the fella off Mastermind. This was Sigurd Magnusson, and he went to the Crusades in the Middle East. And he took that ship there, and that ended up in the Middle East. It was offered to, I think it was the king of the Ottoman Empire. Was it the Ottoman? No, it wouldn't have been the Ottoman at that time. It was offered to someone in Constantinople, and it was brought back to Belgium, to Bruges. And then there was a battle between Bruges and Ghent, because at that time Belgium didn't exist, and that was captured from Bruges, and it was put on top of the church where all the records for Ghent were kept, and it stayed there ever since. And the brewer took his inspiration from that. And I have to say, this does look like a really good one. They've taken a long time over the label. I mean, the label covers the entire bottle, and it just looks like a quality beer. Now, I've never tasted this before, so this is going to be a new one on me. And this beer is also interesting in its ingredients and the way it's brewed, and I'll let you know how that is when we investigate the beer. Right, this is a 330ml bottle. It is 10.5%. It is a triple, the authentic round road triple, Robin Road triple. Don't know what that means, unfortunately. What else have we got on here? Yeah, 10.5%. A lot of stuff in Flemish. I'm imagining as this triple, this contains sugar of some description or some sweetener. I'll tell you what it does happen to it in the brewing process. It goes through its first fermentation, and then they do a second fermentation, and they use wine yeast with it. Now, you know my views on wine and how much I fucking hate that stuff, but they use wine yeast in there, and it's also bottle conditioned, so there's all sediment in there as well, and it's still fermenting in the bottle as we speak, so there's going to be some residue on the bottom of that. I know I've said it, this is the third time I'm going to say it, it's 10.5%, so I've got to take it steady with this. So let's get it open and let's see what's going on. Right, let's get this baby open. The Van Steenberge Brewery. I think I've had a couple from them. Steenberge, of course, means stone mountain in Flemish. No mountains in Belgium. Flat as a witch's tit. There's the cap. Very nice cap. That is going into the collection. On the nose. No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pour some out first. Wow, that is lively. carbonation on that. What are we getting? Oh yeah, that is a typical Belgian triple. I'm getting spirit alcohol. That's definitely there. God, that's proper ethanol. That's the stuff you'd put in a Spitfire radiator to keep it cool. And that's glycol, isn't it? What am I thinking? Ethanol. Ethanol's the alcohol, isn't it? Back to the science class for me. There's a lot of dried fruit in there. I'm getting cherries. Little touch of vanilla. But there is big alcohol on this, as you would expect. Let's get the rest of it in there. Oops. Luckily, that is going to start. Now, I'm not that surprised there is that much carbonation in there, because, as I said, they've put yeast in there afterwards as well. And of course, that yeast is just going to munch on anything that's there. It's going to convert what it's eating into alcohol. It's going to puke and piss that alcohol out, these little bacteria in the yeast. Well, that is effectively what yeast is. It's also going to burp carbon dioxide. Now, I'm assuming that is not naturally carbonated, but the yeast in there have certainly made a contribution to that. Oh, it smells like sweet fruit now. There's definitely some sort of sugar, dextrose. I'd imagine it's sugar that they've put in that. Does it give any indication into the ingredients? Unfortunately not. That's a shame. This is a well-renowned beer though. I'm impressed with the head. I mean, that is 10.5% and the head is not dissipating. If anything, there is more carbonation contributing to that. But that does look uniquely Belgian, doesn't it? Just the way it is, the way it holds itself, and the aromas. It smells gorgeous. Let's get it down the hatch. Proost, as they say in Flemish. God, that is intense. Jesus. And that spirit alcohol. Fuck. That's warming all the way down. This is really, really flavour intense. Again, it's almost like a cognac of some description, because it's got that not burning, it's just got the heat as it goes down. Wow, what a special beer this one is. I'm just going to get everything in there now. I have to say the head retention is fantastic. I don't know what they've done to preserve that, but beers like this need to be drunk through a head like that. I think putting it in a chalice, that would dissipate rather quickly. Tulip glass it's the recommended glass for this. They have their own glass, which is pretty similar to almost like a, well, it's what have I got that's near to it? It's a cross between something like this. The base is a lot smaller, but it's just designed to preserve the head. And this is definitely one for savouring and not gulping. It is so flavour intense. There was a lot of sweetness, a lot of dried fruit, dried dark fruit, like cherries and raisins, black cherry, raisin, damson. But there is an element of sugar sweetness to it as well, like a cane sugar type sweetness. And there's caramel malt on the back end, but it's just so intense. All the flavours are just fucking turned up to 11, and it gives a very, very nice flavour. It is super rich, really, really rich. Now, some people have said that you get the faint aromas of sweet coffee. I can't really say that I'm getting that. I'm getting more caramel, very, very sweet caramel malt and dark fruit. It's like it's very like a double, but with much more flavour intensity. This is a good one. Carbonation is quite nice, it's just about right. The only thing that is really sort of raising a slight alarm with me is the sugar sweetness on it. Now I don't know whether that is just molasses they put in there. That's what I'm getting, that type of molasses type sugar. But it's very prominent all the way through. It does complement the caramel, but I think for me it is just a smidge too much. But that's the only gripe. Everything else about this is spot on. It's what I'd expect from a really good quality Belgian triple. Now, I don't know how many I could drink of this, because it is super, super rich. The body on it is just so full and intense that I think 2 or 3 of these and I'd be starting to feel not a bit sick, but just like I need something light, you know, like a lager sort of something, just to wash it down. It's got that sweetness that sticks, but it's a characteristic of these strong Belgian beers. It's got the sweetness that sort of sticks. I find it sticks to the palate in a good way. I mean, I'm not saying it's, you know, bad, like a syrupy type super juice you get from Tennant's or Carlsberg, something like that. It's not like that at all. Quite easy drinking though. You do get the initial heat from the alcohol, but once your palate adjusts to that, it goes down very nicely indeed. And at 10.5%, you've got to show this a little bit of respect. You cannot just, you know, neck this with gay abandon, as they say. But all in all, that is a good one. I do like that. It's got everything you'd expect from a decent Belgian triple. So what's the verdict on Gulden Draak? Yeah, really nice. It's got everything I'd expect from a Belgian beer. It's just got them spot on. The only gripe with me is the sweetness. I think if they tone down the sweetness a little bit on this, it'd be really nice. But the flavours are definitely there. You cannot say this hasn't got character. This is just bursting with character. Lovely caramel malt. Real big, intense dark fruit. A sugar sweetness that is slightly overbearing, and a big seam of spirit alcohol that runs all the way through and is very warming all the way down. And all in all, it's a very, very good effort. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I think the sweetness it's just a little bit too much for me. Some people do like that, and I'm not knocking them, because, you know, there are flavours in there that are acquired tastes. Don't get me wrong, I do like my sweetness in these type of beers, and I have tasted beers where they've got the sweetness just spot on. They add the sugar in quite a lot of the doubles and the triples, and it's very, very difficult, in my opinion, to get that balance perfect. Vesmal have definitely got that spot on. They've got that down to a fine art. And believe it or not, the Castile range of beers, their double and their triple, have got the sweetness down to a T. I think this one is just a little touch too strong for me. That, I don't know whether it's cane, as I say, cane, it could be cane sugar, could be molasses, could be dextrose. I'm really not sure. But that's a minor gripe. You know, I can quite easily neck this. This is not a problem for me. It's just a little touch too sweet. But yeah, I'm going to give that 8.5 out of 10. I'm definitely going to recommend this. If nothing else, for the bottle. That is a superb label. It covers the entire bottle. Really nice presentation. And yeah, a really good attempt. I definitely recommend it. If you're in Belgium and you see this, this is definitely one to try. But you know, if you're in Belgium, you're going to be trying everything, aren't you? So there you go. 8.5 out of 10. Recommended. And remember, beer is working class champagne.